Welcome back to another episode Life with Your Dog. My name's Panos and Ignostu, and today I'll be answering a question coming in from Fiona. And the question goes like this: how do I make my obedience quicker, more flashier? For example, how do I make the recall faster? And put that away now. So she is asking when we call the dog to come, and the dog comes really, really slowly towards us. That can be not doesn't look so nice. Also, the reliability can be lost because the longer it takes your dog to come to you, the more he gets distracted by things around him. Also, on that point is if the dog is coming really slow, then there's not really that much drive and motivation, and people want but the real answer, and I think where she's coming at here is people want the things to look really, really cool, and they want that to happen really, really fast. And that's not just for dog training. That comes in the sport world, practicing dance. I'm more familiar with like martial arts. Everyone wants to make the three step combo to pa 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 to look really cool, look like Bruce Lee, and all well and true. I think we should get to a point where we can look good and look fast at doing things, but there's many variables of what makes that happen. And the first thing we're going to talk about, something that reminds me from my sensei talking about martial arts, is he says we want to practice accuracy first, then speed comes later. Speed comes as a byproduct of knowing what it is that you're actually trying to do. And you don't train for speed, we train for accuracy. So let's break that down. We're going to use the recall in this example. If I'm asking my dog to come, I want my dog to do it really fast, but you want to make sure that the actual finished product looks like it's coming really fast. You don't want to be, so you have to teach the dog what it is exactly that you want. Or if you're teaching the middle, which would be another example I use today, and something that's a little bit more newer that I've been teaching Nookie. So right now, if I tell her middle, she'll come in nice and quick, and just like with a recall. But not all the time, because sometimes when I call her, she may not be as motivated to come towards me. So if she's distracted by things, if she's smelling the path and there's a dog out in the distance and I call her to come, now there's some times where she does it really, really good and it looks really awesome and I can put her on the lead with a lot faster time, but sometimes she comes a little bit slower. So I'm not, in that moment there, I'm not going to tell her off or correct her for doing it slow, but there I just may not reinforce it. But it just depends, because if I don't reinforce it, but she came from a very highly distracting or something that really took her attention, she wanted to pursue it or wanted to focus on it. If I don't reward in that moment because she didn't do it fast, I may not be rewarding because she left the thing that she really wanted to go to. So that's where we can be in a bit of a pickle. And with that, we need to think about where is it that you're trying to ask for the behavior. And I'm going to go back to my list here. So, which is exactly what I was going to say, is what is the behavior that you want fast and flashy, and be specific with that finished behavior. So you need to really look at, when I'm asking a dog to come, what does that look like? What is the final response of what you would reward the dog? And for me, I want the dog in a front position, sitting at my feet, facing me. So when I say come, you're sitting at my feet. How you do that at the beginning, I'm not that fussed about it, as long as I'm getting that finished result. If I can work on that sitting in front of my feet inside the house or inside the backyard where there's not much taking her attention away from me, I get that really, really nice. Then we start adding the distractions and upping the level of stimulus in the environment, because she may not be distracted, but she may want to run and chase it. And there's a bit of a difference there, but we won't go into that just right now. We want to make sure that we're the most engaging thing. But before you make yourself so exciting and so fun to be around, what is it that you're trying to make her do so she can get that fun? What is it that makes you fun? And for in this case here, Nookie wants to be rewarded with the ball. So if she really wants that, she'll do it really well. But if she doesn't want it, then she doesn't want to do it. So I'm really focusing on these two parts at the beginning here, because if we don't look at accuracy of exactly what it is that you're looking for, but you're getting frustrated because she's not doing it fast, she may stop doing the finished result right from the beginning. Or as the progression of the training goes on, there's a lot of confusion. So really nail down on looking at exactly what you're wanting, reinforcing as much of that as possible in the early days, and then over time, As she starts to understand what you want, we start getting a lot more intensity for it. Just for everyone to know, if this is the first time listening, I'm not a sport dog trainer. I don't work with agility and doing advanced obedience and things like that. So if you want to go into the weeds of that, then someone to look at is like start listening to the Canine Paradigm. Pat's all over that. All over Pat Stewart. Look into his stuff. Anyway, that's where we can get the flashy, more reliable, awesome behavior on that spectrum of training. We're just talking more about pet dog stuff here. So and one thing that Pat talks about all the time, and I'm sure he didn't make this up, but if he did, then that's awesome, is that mastery is the excellence. Mastery is excellence of the basics, and that comes with everything. So it reminds me of a kickboxer girl that I was watching on Instagram. She says, "Oh, today's a really cool day because we get to do the spinning elbow, the spinning elbow, whichever. I think she was like a reverse one." And she was saying it's cool because every other day we're working on fundamentals and basics, and here and there we work on the cool looking and the more dynamic postures and moves and strikes. And that's really important because that's exactly like dog training and like any skill building. Practicing as much as you can, being really, really good at the basics and the fundamentals of the activity you're doing, then everything else that we're looking for, the mastery that we see, the Bruce Lee sort of execution, is because it's the fundamentals that have been broken down into each tiny little baby step. So that's really cool. And knowing that and learning about that makes us more pragmatic with our approach, but also more disciplined in terms of we're looking at the smallest little behaviors and reinforcing closer towards your end goal. And it's really important to have an end goal. If you're looking at the recall and you're calling her to come and she's only standing at your feet and she's not in a sit, but your final response is a sit, in the early phases of training, in the teaching phase, yes, of course, just reward effort towards the behavior. But it's important that you get the finished product before you start making that look more reliable and to look more flashy and awesome. So really, really important. Leads me to the next point, which is really cool because I was about to explain every time I'm about to say the next thing, I've already got it written down. So it's really important that I'm following a guideline here. Otherwise, I'm going to go all over the place and you guys are going to probably stop listening to me. So here we have to make sure that we don't name a behavior till you love it. Don't name it till you love it is the thing that we talk about all the time. And the reason for that is because if you name something too early, if you're still calling her to come, but she's standing at your feet, but she's not in that sit position, then that word come means what it is that you're paying in that moment. So make sure with luring and with gestures or however else that you shape the behavior, make sure that you get the behavior, reinforce it just on its body language, for example, the gesture of your hand in front of your knee, because the final response will be the word come with no gesture. And we want to make sure the word come means the exact thing that you're looking for. So that kind of all ties into what we were just explaining. Next thing to consider is drive and temperament of the dog. What I get from Spades and what I get from Nookie are two different things because of temperament, drive, but also age of the dog as well. You know, Spades would do things a lot quicker and a lot more awesome 5 years ago when he was 5, not when he's 10 now and is, you know, a bit of arthritis kicking in and things like that. But also the drive of the dog. So Nookie and Ace, for example, my dog that I recently had a really high ball drive, prey drive. He wanted to play a lot, and not that Spades doesn't want to, but that was a very, very big part of his reinforcement. And what comes with that is the drive and the intensity. Temperament of the dog as well. If your dog's old or sick, or if he's learnt over time that he doesn't have to do anything very fast and he still gets everything he wants, then that could play a role in this as well. And depending on how long this time frame is between starting it and getting a really flashy, awesome finished result, maybe years, you know, take some time for some of these things to come along, and depends on how much you practice it, of course, as well. This is a little bit more in depth, but we talk about the use of negative reinforcement and sometimes and also intermittent reinforcement. Check out episode 13, goes into a little bit more detail about what all that means. But of course, negative reinforcement, we talk about removal